So pastors say the darndest things. The first one I can remember is there was a pastor who came out to our church many years ago. He sat at the back, I didn't know. Around the same time, I was getting upset with what I call not theologians but thinkologians.
Yes.
And I may have been the first one to coin that word. Because it's not theologians that I love people who love the Word of God, love to go deep. But I just get really upset with people who just want to think a lot.
Yeah.
Just think too much, overthink, you know. Why do you fold the communion tablecloth like that, you know? Why is it fold inside and not outside? Why do you use crackers and not chapati for the bread? Why do you use ribena and, you know, not sankit? Just thinkologians. So they think they're theologians, but they're thinkologians. And some of our younger people were caught up with that.
Yeah.
Caught up with having to explain everything, explain faith. Christianity and even faith is not something to explain, it's something to experience.
Yeah, right. That's true.
So I want people to experience God.
Yes.
Because no matter how you try to explain, people don't come to Christ just because of explanation. They come to Christ because of experience. And sometimes you might even lose your faith if you don't get a good explanation. I've seen Christians just saying, okay, I can't believe it in it anymore. But you know why a lot of people give up their faith so easily? Because they've never tasted God.
Yes.
Taste and see that the Lord is good. So I'm not, even if I'm sitting with another religion, I don't want to argue until the cows come home about lines and precepts and principles. I want to just say, like that man who was healed from blindness, he said, whether Jesus is a sinner or not, because the Pharisee said he's a sinner. All right? And so tell us whether you were born blind. Correct. And the man said, I told you so many times. And you still don't want to believe. They called the parents also. Was your son born blind? You know, and the parents said, hello, he's over 40 years old. Ask him. And he said, I'm going to tell you one more time. And he said, yeah, but Jesus is a sinner. And the man said, whether he's a sinner or not, so theology, whether your theology is right or mine is wrong, hey, I just know this. Once I was blind, but now I see. So, it is. It's very, very important. That's why we cannot just give young people only explanation. I'm into theology, I'm into explanation, but I know we cannot rely on that. So today, even though you got 1,000 things against the Bible, like, okay, I can tell you 1,000 places where it's, wrong or it's inconsistent, I will look at it and go like, oh, thank you for the 1,000 thoughts, but do you know that my father got off drugs because of Jesus? And do you know and I can keep going on. And I can give you 1,000 reasons, but not just reasons, 1,000 experiences that this God is real.
True.
We're not talking about religion, we're talking about reality. Is God real in your life?
Right.